This Week with Bob Mueller on News 2.
This week,
stop the silence and gun violence!
Hundreds gather again to voice their demand for common sense gun reform, knowing the GOP supermajority legislature has so far turned them a deaf ear.
She is legally unqualified to hold the position.
Democrats renew a call for the resignation of the state education commissioner, claiming she does not even live in Tennessee.
Somewhat mirrors the governor, a little bit different on some of the things we put it on the choice side.
The school voucher fight is on with 3 different versions, which, if any, win approval, is still unclear.
To say this will be my last term as Republican leader of the Senate.
The longest serving and most controversial Republican Senate leader is stepping down. Hello again and welcome to another edition of This Week. Gun reform advocates again challenge the legislature to act. Mitch McConnell, the longest serving GOP Senate leader, steps down. 3 different voucher plans are being debated, but we begin with a renewed call for the State Commissioner of Education to resign, claiming she does not even live in Tennessee.
It's not the first time we've heard the call.
She is legally unqualified to hold the position.
And it probably won't be the last either.
This is a disgrace, it's pathetic, and we are again calling on Commissioner Reynolds to resign.
Democrats are renewing a call for Tennessee Education Commissioner Lizette Reynolds to resign. Nashville Democratic Representative Caleb Hemmer revealed Monday that Reynolds' primary residence was not in Tennessee, but in Texas, where she came from, despite starting as the commissioner last July. Hemmer cited and provided property tax receipts, zoning records, and voting records, all showing the same mailing address in Austin.
The second highest paid person in the governor's cabinet, paid with Tennessee taxpayer money, isn't a Tennessee taxpayer.
The move comes as Republicans roll out their Education Freedom Voucher Scholarship, set to give public's tax money to private school families.
They're not happy, so they're going to do everything they can to move that issue on. And, the thing is maybe she can't afford something here in Nashville, even the rent. And so, we'll see. I'm sure we'll deal with it at some point.
Now, it's technically not illegal for Reynolds to live in a different state than where she serves. The only tangible requirement is the commissioner shall also be qualified to teach in the school of the highest standing over which the commissioner has authority. Still, Hemmer says it's more of an ethical violation than a legal one, especially with the push for vouchers.
She's coming in here like a Texas tornado, taking away, and basically mowing down every public school and policy that is for our kids' futures here.
So requiring a commissioner to actually reside in the state of Tennessee isn't something that we used to have to require at all. That's just something that actually happened.
Hemmer and Nashville Democratic Senator Jeff Yarbrough filed a bill this year to require any Tennessee commissioner to live in Tennessee and also create a process to impeach any commissioner. In Nashville, Chris O'Brien.
Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell has announced he will step down as Senate Republican leader come November. However, as Raquel Martin reports, the senator says he will continue to serve out his term.
So I stand before you today, Mr. President, and my colleagues, to say this will be my last term as Republican leader of the Senate.
The Kentucky senator informed his colleagues that while he will serve out the rest of his term, which ends in 2027, he will no longer serve in leadership. Mitch McConnell, who turned 82 last week, was elected the Senate's top Republican in 2007. Over the years, he almost single-handedly helped deliver major legislative victories for the GOP. A defining part of his legacy will be his reshaping of the ideological balance of the nation's judicial system, especially the U.S. Supreme Court. Through McConnell's actions, the High Court is now a conservative supermajority. After the death of Justice Antonin Scalia in 2016, McConnell refused to consider President Obama's nominee, Merrick Garland, in the final year of Obama's second term. He kept that vacancy open until the election of President Trump, who nominated Neil Gorsuch. And in the final months of Trump's presidency, McConnell allowed him to nominate Amy Coney Barrett after the death of liberal Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Democratic critics called it a double standard. But after January 6th, McConnell broke with Trump, denouncing him for causing the insurrection. While other Republicans have endorsed Trump, McConnell so far has not. But there also have been questions about his health. Twice last year, McConnell appeared to freeze mid-sentence during press conferences.
I'm no longer the young man sitting in the back, hoping colleagues would remember my name. It's time for the next generation of leadership.
When he finished today's remarks, both Democrats and Republicans giving him a standing ovation.
Now to our This Week cover story. 3 competing school voucher plans are under discussion. The House, Senate, and Governor Lee all have voucher proposals. They are very different, and Democrats oppose them all. State Capitol reporter Chris O'Brien explains.
2 different bills, 2 vastly different ideas.
We've always said all along that it was going to be about education as a whole, about K through 12, and about choice.
The Tennessee House released its proposal for an education voucher scholarship to give public tax money to private school families. It's a massive bill full of ideas in addition to school vouchers, like better insurance for teachers and a relaxing of testing requirements. Tennessee's Fiscal Review Committee estimated it would cost the state at minimum about $425 million from 2026 on. It'll also increase money for local districts by roughly $195 million.
We have to give teachers the ability in the classroom to get back to teaching. You could do it separately, but it makes sense to make it all comprehensive.
But the Tennessee Senate might not be so amenable to the House's plan, as they have their own proposal without any of the extras.
In their amendment are bills that have been filed to do other things. So there's good vehicles to accomplish some of those goals.
Senate Education Chair John Lundberg downplayed concern today, saying the 2 chambers are closer than it looks publicly.
Chris, I think that's unfair. You called it a chasm, and I don't think it is, because, if you say 70-80% of this bill is about giving parents the ability to choose where their son or daughter goes to school and what's the best decision for them. That's 80% of the bill.
The only issue is House leadership says school choice is only a small portion of their bill.
There's a choice component to it, which somewhat mirrors the governor, a little bit different on some of the things we put it on the choice side.
When the House and Senate cannot come to an agreement on a bill, they go to what's called a conference committee.
Do you expect this to go to conference?
Most likely, yeah.
In Nashville, Chris O'Brien.
Stay with us. This Week continues in a moment.